Sometimes all you need is 15 minutes and a place that tells your body you can exhale now. And home is supposed to be where we rest, but for a lot of us, home is also where we work, manage, parent, carry everybody's needs. So even when we're technically off, our nervous system never clocks out. So that's why today matters. We're talking about creating a dedicated space in your home where you can return to yourself, not to be productive, not to be useful, not to be available. And I know that's hard to hear, but just to breathe, regulate, reconnect. So I call my place for that Serenity Station. Soft lights, warm throw, grounding scents. I do a lot of smells, sensory smells of oud and sweet orange and ginger and frankincense, and practices that bring me back, like prayer and breath work, stillness, as well as Tai Chi. Sometimes it's just 15 minutes that turns my whole day around. And the point is, it's a dedicated place to reset, whether it's a chair, a corner, a nook, something that tells your mind and body, this is where I come back to me. So I just want to welcome everybody to Chatting with Chi, a series of recorded conversations about wellness, mindset, and real tools for real life. And today's topic is Serenity Station, creating a peace station, a peace space at home. And a quick reminder, we're not taking questions live today. This is a guided conversation that you can replay. Please don't forget to subscribe. And with that, let's get right to it. I'm joined by two beautiful women who live real life at full speed. Cynthia McMillan, lawyer, wife, and caregiver, and Crystal Wilson, wife, mother of three, and school administrator. And ladies, when you're overwhelmed, brain loud, body tense, where do you go at home to exhale? And if you don't have a place, what happens instead?
The place that I go is in my room, in my bathroom, on my toilet. Just full disclosure, I sit on the throne and I just sit there. Usually I have my phone, I might play a game or something, but I sit there until I can't get up because my legs have just fallen asleep. But that's where I find my peace. And it's sort of enclosed, so it feels very cozy. And I just sit there. And nobody can find me because you know, they don't know where I'm at. So
I'm not
that's where I
judging.
go.
I'm literally not judging.
That's
Absolutely
where I
not,
go.
because you took one of my spots. That's definitely one of my spots too.
Hmm.
Hilarious. And nobody bothers you,
No,
for sure.
So, so my goodness, that's real. I did used to have the bathroom, not gonna lie. This was when the kids were little, but not technically on the throne. I literally put towels down. And back then, this was a million years ago when smoking was still cool. And I would have my little ashtray and I'd smoke and read and get away, and people would be walking around, where's mom? Where's mom? So yeah, I get it. I totally get that. But let's talk, Cynthia, about your role right now. You're carrying a lot. You might not think it. I don't know. Maybe you know it, but just for me to know all the things that you do as a mom and a wife and a lawyer, and especially now caregiving for your mother-in-law. Um, I know I've been there. I feel it, and so you tell me what's the hardest part about protecting space that's just for you, like emotionally.
well, fortunately, before my mother-in-law came to live with us, I put some very hard boundaries and very firm boundaries in place with my husband because this is my mother-in-law. And unfortunately, just before she came, I had lost both of my parents 6 months apart. So I didn't have a chance to mourn their death. And then
That's
my sister-in-law passed away 6 months after my mother passed away. So she was the only girl. So it was a girl and six boys. Well, my husband was the next one in line, if you will. So he asked me, could mama come here to live? And my initial reaction was absolutely not. I just didn't want any parts of it because I didn't have a chance to bring my own mother home. And I felt guilty that I didn't have a chance to care for her. But after I thought about it some more, I told him, yes, we can. I said, however, it's under these conditions. And the condition mainly was if I tell you I need a break, you need to give it to me. And I mean more than 5 hours. I need to go somewhere, go away, like out of the house, out of the city, wherever I need to go. You have to let me have that space because it's a lot, it's overwhelming, and I don't want to impart any of my feelings onto my mother-in-law. I mean, my God, the lady is 97 years old.
Wow.
She has lost five,
God
she's
bless
buried five kids and a husband. And she can still wake up and smile and all of that. She's not sick, she's just old.
her. Mm,
So I feel like now, 5 years later, that I'm honored to do so because there's really nobody else to do it. So
yeah.
I have to, so what my husband promised me 5 years ago, I stand on that.
Okay.
And when I start feeling that frustration, not just your regular frustration, but when it becomes continuous and I'm feeling like really irritated, I was like, okay, it's time for me to go. And usually I go to my friend's house. She lives in the country. It's about an hour and a half drive from here. And I go there and I'm just looking at, nothingness. I might see some deer coming back and forth, and that's where I find my peace.
That sounds like some good space. Yeah. Yeah. Crystal, I know school leadership plus parenting is nonstop. You got two teenagers and a college kid. You got two, you have one in high school and one in is middle school, right? Or is Mackenzie in high school?
Believe it or not, she is in high school. Yeah, her and
Well,
Mateo, they're both at the same high school.
I knew that. I did know that. I can't picture her being in high school
I
yet.
can't either. All right.
Oh my gosh. And then Micah's in college. So I mean you've done a wonderful job raising them, honestly. Both of you have. I know both of you, your children, but you're also in school leadership and you are a spouse as well. And so where do you feel that load the most? In like mentally, physically, or emotionally?
That's a good question. And Cynthia, I just want to, before I even begin to share, I appreciate your candid thoughts and your realness, and I appreciate and I admire how you set those boundaries early on. And I know that probably made a tremendous difference in your level of care for your mother-in-law. So I just want to say that, and it was
I
Thank you.
was
impressed my
I was
heart.
very
Yes.
impressed too. I'm so
Mhm.
sorry. I was very impressed because I did not think of that with my caregiving.
Yes, she is huge in that area.
That was
Mother
good.
Earth, yes. Um, well, I think for me, sometimes I have learned to carve out my space. I did not have um, the bravery, I'll say, of Cynthia to say these are my boundaries. I just kind of over time I learned what they were. And then from learning what they were, I began to set them. And then I started kind of setting some things in place. For me, I probably feel it everywhere. If the kids are in mode like sports mode where they have a lot of activities going on and you're constantly on the move with them, I try to find time for myself, you know the little something. It's the simple things. It could be a skincare routine, or just maybe reading a book, or Sometimes I'm gonna tell you, just like we talked about our other throne, my other throne is really the car. And I'll sit in the car and I'll listen to podcasts or just catch up, maybe on emails or texts or whatever the case may be. But I've learned that I have to be okay with saying no sometimes. It's not always the easiest thing to do. And then learning to manage everybody else's needs too. Because you've mentioned for all of us, we all have intermingling roles, and I guess it's learning how to be able to establish yourself in there. As I've gotten a little older, it's gotten a little better. It could be, but I just figure it out and make the time. I'm
Okay.
I'm not as I'm not as I don't feel as guilty about it as I once did.
Well, that's good. That's good because we have to. I think Ralph Waldo Emerson said it best: "Your first wealth is health." And he was a I forgot exactly the term, but basically he was a philosopher, but he also was a minister. A lot of people don't know that, and of course, a poet and an essayist. But he meant that holistically because he always engaged in matters of mind, body, health, spiritual and mental and emotional health. And he meant that you know your first wealth that you can have, the most important thing that you have to have, and everything else comes after, is all of that: health, emotional, mental, spiritual. And he understood interconnectivity with that in your body. So you have to place it first. My sister says, she always puts it in the in the text of on the airplane, when they say, before you help anybody else, make sure you get your oxygen and then help. It's a good analogy. Yeah. So what's the difference between, this is to both of you, I'll relax somewhere, and this is my reset station. And by that I mean, you know, you can relax and watch TV with your kids. It's not necessarily a moment that pulls you back to yourself and gives you, a reset, an emotional or mental reset. So what what do you find as the difference between that? Either one.
For me, I am big into self care, so I go to the gym probably 4 out of 5 days a week, and I don't do anything strenuous. I just get on the track. I put in my music in my ears, and I just walk. I walk maybe 2 miles, and after I'm finished, I feel lighter. You know, physically I'm lighter. I've kind of gotten rid of all that stress, and I do that for me because that's my time, and I
I
take it.
love I
Yes,
love that. Are you still swimming?
yes,
Okay.
I do
Yeah, I
that too.
love. My Serenity station has had to be at my home, mostly because, I'm caregiving currently. And so it's difficult for me to get away. I don't really have a lot of backup. So currently, my part of my Serenity station includes a lot of workout equipment, just so I can like come in and kind of have the moment you have. I think yours is a little bit more liberating in the way that you're out and, be able to actually leave your house and do that part. Um, so let me ask you another question too, Cynthia, while I have you on here. Do you notice any identity shift, like I'm always needed? And how does a personal space help you remember who you are outside the role? So we're just kind of talking about how anything pulling on you or needing you is helping to create some type of identity for you, and how do you break free from that identity to I'm Cynthia, like this is me, and I'm me without you, you know.
And I have a twofold answer.
Okay.
The first part of the twofold answer is I keep telling myself that I choose me. Every day I choose myself. I'm first. And I tell myself that. And I'm very authentic about it. Cynthia, you are first. Because if you go down, everything else falls apart. So you have to make sure that you take care of yourself first. So I do that. And the other thing, this is hard, but I don't have any expectations that anybody else will help. Because if I have expectations, that's when you get disappointed, right? So I
So
don't have any. I don't expect able bodied people to come and say, hey, let me help you. I don't. So I don't even expect that. And was not doing that probably for the last year. And that frustrated me because my thing is, this is y'all's grandmother. Yours should be stopping by on your way home from work to see. That's your grandmother. You should be changing her diaper. You should be cleaning her up. You should do something, like do something. But once I stopped expecting that and just doing it, then I was able to kind of stay more level. And the other thing we did was we have someone come in. So hospice, my mother-in-law was categorized as being able to go on hospice because she met a couple of the conditions, and because of that, I have a aide that comes in every day, Monday through Friday. So when she comes in, I literally sit on the couch, or I go in the backyard, or I go get my groceries, or do whatever I need to do, and I let her tend to her. She gives her a bath, like in the bed, because her mobility, my mother-in-law's mobility has, it has waned down over the last 6, 7, 8 months. But she's
yeah,
almost 98. I
right.
mean, mentally she's there, but she goes up there, she takes care of her, she talks to her, she does all of that. And usually after she gets finished with that, my mother-in-law goes to sleep.
Mm.
So I know her routine very well, and I know what my mother-in-law would do. So I start my kind of rest station when the caregiver comes, and then I kind of let it float into while she's sleeping.
Okay.
So that's what I do.
I love that. I really love that. I mean, you are kind of mastering all kinds of techniques here to,
You have to, because it'll
like
take you.
like you said, I think taking care of yourself and saying, me first, I choose me
Hmm.
first, is
Yep.
best for everyone involved.
Yes,
Because
it
if you
is.
don't, you're gonna be as much of a problem as what you're facing. So you have to take care of you, and like I said, for everybody's sake. So, um, Crystal, how do you deal with? You mentioned earlier that you feel less guilt than you used to. You didn't actually say you felt guilt free yet. I did catch that, but you said you feel less guilt than you used to. So how do you deal with the guilt that can come with prioritizing quiet when everyone else needs something? Let's start there.
Well, I think for myself, I realized somewhere like when Micah, that's my oldest son, when he was heading to college, I I was talking with someone and we were just kind of discussing that the migration process was getting ready to happen. I have my children are stair step. You got
Yeah.
yep, one's 18, one's 17. He's going to be a senior next year. And then my youngest, she's going to be 15 in a couple more months. I really felt it with my oldest, but I began to see that I was going to have to make a shift in my priorities and just in to prepare myself for my next stage of life, which was empty nester, right? um, rediscovering, kind of like a reawakening the things that I'm interested in, that means something to me. Just kind of what, Lord, what do you have in store for me for this next leg of my journey? And so for the past couple of years, I've been really kind of delving into some things, passions, and uh, just interests that I had from decades ago that I just kind of left by the wayside and had presented themselves again. And I've really been enjoying exploring that component. So when I look at it as a part of, it's a part of my journey, it's a part of everybody's journey. You have to, for your own sanity, you have to have those things, that you have to have your own identity. You have to have something that's important and that clicks for you. Because if you, what is it? If mama isn't happy, nobody's happy.
Mhm.
So
I
I
had
find that to be true.
that's what they say. This is really good, and I did take notice that although you're a bit younger than Cynthia and I, we're kind of in the same generation type, and we almost had a 32-year-old on here, and I just want to note that they get it. There's so much emphasis now, right, on mental health and emotional well-being and all of that. They get it early. my
Yeah.
you know my daughter is 32. She's the one, and she's been setting boundaries since day one, from as soon as she was married, after the first child, as the second one was coming. She has they I feel like they're more in tune
Yeah.
with not getting as far gone as we have, because it was looked down upon. And you guys tell me
Hmm.
what you think about this. It was looked down upon like, oh, she's selfish, um, and don't let a woman hit menopause. It's like ever since she hit menopause, it's all been
Mhm.
all about her. Am I lying? Like, is this right?
No,
No,
you're
you're
right.
not.
I'm right. And so we were like, oh no, I'm humble. I'm sacrificing. I'm sacrificial. I am. I'm a giver. I'm this, and it was like, because it was mannerable almost for a woman to take on that role and not ask questions and be graceful and gracious about it, right? That was kind of the expectation. And now I feel like we all know that was rubbish.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
and I'm so proud that the younger generation is, not falling for this okey doke. Yes, sacrifice where it makes sense and you want to do that and it's needed. And yes, be giving and kind and loving and helpful and all of that. But where in any of that is loving on yourself wrong too?
Right. You're right.
Yeah, very true.
I
Very
just,
true.
I just, it just dawned on me as I scanned the screen. I'm like, oh, we're missing the 30-year-old, and I realized, it's pretty funny to me that they've been on that. They've been on that. They're there. They already know. It's like they're
They do.
protecting their peace. And what's their favorite saying? They're matching energy. They're protecting their peace. I mean, like, they're not playing with their mentality. And look at companies. Think about how companies have converted to caring more about people's well-being, not just your physical health, but your mental and
Mental.
emotional well-being.
You're right. Hmm.
Companies like, and I'm not endorsing anybody, but companies like Spring Health and I think the other one's Better Health, and all of these
Hmm.
different companies that are attached to major organizations with coaches like me that are certified wellness health coaches, career coaches, being paid by the company as part of the benefit package.
Hmm.
We never had. They
Never.
literally said maybe you need another job. Honestly,
Right.
there's no your well-being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah. Right.
Right.
So what a mighty way we've come, and it's all
Good.
good.
Mhm.
Because we're talking about spaces at home, I've had some people say to me, you know, I don't have any extra rooms to go make a Serenity Station. Like Serenity Station saved me, for the record. I have everything in here that I could possibly love, and I literally have a code word to my husband where I just let him. I tell him I'm going dark. He goes, okay,
That's
you
good.
know,
Yes.
find a TV show, find a hobby to do, build something, whatever. I'm going dark, and I'll
Mhm.
come out when I feel better. Like,
Mhm.
Yep.
so, but what if you don't have a room? Like I know Crystal said she goes to the car. You both have given your throne testimonies now. So, like, um,
And building my career and doing all of this stuff, but I just love doing puzzles. So between those two things, I'm able to relax. But I'm also a water person. So I'll walk. There's a lake, probably, I don't know, maybe a half a mile from here. So
Okay.
I'll just walk to the lake and I'll sit on a bench and I'm looking at the water and I'll just sit there and watch the ducks and write, or just look. So that gives me some serenity and some peace, and I enjoy that as well. But I do agree that you don't necessarily have to have, I think you should have both. I think you should have a place of serenity in your home and
Mhm.
outside of your home.
That's
Because
true.
sometimes you just need to get out of your house. Yeah, you just
Very
need to
true.
get out
I'm
of your
sorry.
house, and
I
that's
have
okay. So I have that place, and that's the place that where I go. Those are the two. What about you?
Question. We're talking about our serenity space
okay, okay, good.
Outside the house.
outside the
Outside, right,
house.
right, right. The
Yes.
gym was a good one that you named. So, and another alternate is instead of having to have a whole room, I've had some people where I asked them, did they have like a favorite chair in their living room? Could you grab a book and a throw blanket, whatever, s- candles, some tea, and when everybody else has gone to bed, or in the early morning, and capture some time for you right there. But I really enjoyed the car. I don't think I've ever done that, but I know people that have, and I forgot about that one. That's a good one.
Love
That's a
it.
good one.
Hmm. True.
Let's
Yeah.
now the other thing I wanted to ask you guys, and I know that we kind of cut into the time with my internet connection there, but give me one moment here.
Hmm.
I'm still having a little bit of issues. I'm glad you guys continue to talk, though. Thank you.
Hmm.
So, yes, this is what I wanted to ask you both. Once you have like your cues down, right? Like what works for you, like what your anchor is for feeling peaceful, having a little bit of a reset. Like for me, my cues do have to work. I'm very sensory sensitive. So smelling the right things, having the right lighting, I always have light flamenco music in the background, or some soft Italian Mediterranean coastal, like I'm in a village on the coast somewhere in France or something. I love music like that. So sound, and smells, aromatherapy really works well for me. And you guys have your own different cues.
Hmm. Okay. For cues, definitely, I love candles. I love those scents that take me kind
Okay,
of
hopefully that one went faster.
yeah, Transcendent. I also I love music. I'm a music lover, so I love just having something to be honest, Serenity, sometimes it's just putting on a funny movie for me. I love comedy. I love action, but comedy relaxes me, so I enjoy that as well. Um, just having to just I've learned to just create my space as I go if I have to, wherever that may be. Hmm.
I think for me, it's I have two, but I have four grandchildren that literally the block behind me, and sometimes I just get a very peaceful calm if I go over. And the two younger ones, they're 5 and 3, 6 and 3. I'm sorry. And when I walk in, they just hug me and just sit on me, and that's it for me. I mean, they love on me. So when they love on me, then I'm able to release. The other two, they're preteens and teenagers, so it's a different kind of thing because they want
Hmm.
money. These two small ones, they just want to sit in my lap and just hug me. So I just sit there and rock and hug them, and when it starts getting a little rowdy, I get up and leave.
Hmm.
But it works. But another thing that I have learned to do that is really really helpful, and it doesn't sound like a lot, but it really is. On those days where I'm not okay, I give myself permission not to be okay. So I will literally say out loud, Cynthia, today you're not okay, and it's okay. Okay? And I find myself responding to myself. So it's like I'm giving myself permission not to be okay. And
Hmm.
it's something about giving yourself permission that makes it okay not to be okay that day.
Yes.
So you should try it. You're gonna laugh at yourself because you're gonna be answering yourself and looking around like, but it's something you have to say it out loud. You
Hmm.
have to say, Crystal, you're not okay today, and it's okay not to be
Hmm.
okay. Okay. And then you're going to go, okay. Like you're having a dialogue with yourself. But it's
Right.
something about saying it out loud that releases you from the pressure of having to always be okay because you're not always okay. And it's okay.
That's true. That's a valid
Sounded
point.
something really wonderful there, I can tell. So I have to look back on the tape. Um, So, once you made up your mind, and it seems like, Cynthia, you kind of have a lot of this down pat. You've grown
Yes.
into, like you said, 5 years later, you know exactly how, and you set boundaries from the start. But since then, you've also grown into like some routines and, methods that help you, save your peace. So, and Crystal, same thing. You seem like you're still growing fully into it, but you've got some things that are down pat too as well. um and for somebody that's new to trying to start making space for themselves, to have peace, to be okay, to reset, I want to kind of talk about making it stick, because it's one thing to be motivated enough to do it, and then there's um you know another thing to actually build it out, and put some systems in place that really fit real life. So what would happen, or what do you guys think about if someone were to treat their peace like a mandate instead of a reward? How would that change the way that they react to it, or how they approach it?
Hmm.
That's a good one.
If it's a mandate, it has to happen. That's it. It's
Right.
non-negotiable. And that goes back to
Non
what
negotiable.
Cynthia was talking. She led with that when she started, which is these are my rules. This is what's got to happen. So, and
Right.
would you say, Cynthia, that probably for you, that really probably created kind of a safe space and a peaceful environment for you to kind of, it was kind of like your mandate to me.
Yes, and at the time I was so grief stricken with everything that was going on, I didn't look at it that way, but I knew I had to do something to save me because even before we relocated, and we had to relocate her from Indiana to Texas. Um, it I knew I had to do something because I knew that I was taking on a big load. I was never a caregiver in my life. My parents were very self-sufficient. When my mother went down, she never came home and she died in 6 months. My sister, on the other hand, she was in Chicago taking care of my dad. Now, she has a whole different story than I have. But and it was different for her, but for me that was the best thing. I Looking back now, 5 years later, that's the best thing I ever could have done. And moving forward as I do now, don't be afraid to say, hey, I'm tired, you do it. Because sometimes I say I'm off for the rest of the day in the evening, or I'll say, okay, here's dinner, take it up to mom, and that's it. Or I will give him a heads up. I was like, okay, Sunday I'm off. I'm off Sunday. So call the girls, have them come over and take care of their grandmother because I'm
Now,
off.
now, Crystal, I'm curious. Have you ever done that with Rocky? Have you ever said I'm off on Sunday?
I'm sorry, he's looking at me right now. I have done so. I don't believe
Well, you
so.
should.
If you can
But
hear
you
us,
know what we
that
do?
tells
I
me
will say what we
green
do
Crystal.
do. Well, no, this is what we do. We kind of have learned each other over the years, and I would say when he needs his space and he needs to, maybe just spend time with his friends or just do nothing if he doesn't want to, then I just assume, you know, I I handle the house, and vice versa. It's like I'm going to get my nails done, or I'm going to get my hair done, or whatever I'm going to do. Then is he will take on, picking up the drop offs and the pickups for different activities that the kids have going on. So we I feel like we both are respectful of each other's
Mhm. But
need for that.
but I think it's something powerful to not have to be a caregiver 7 days a week.
Yes.
You should be able to take
I don't know
one
that,
day.
and I don't. I
Well,
don't
I'm
know
just
that.
saying
I know. I get
that's
you. No,
powerful,
I don't mean that I don't know that you're right. You're certainly right. I haven't
right?
experienced this. So,
Yes, no, I understand. I understand. But that's where able bodied other people come in and just sit them down and say, hey, this is your dad, this is your grandmother, whatever it is. I don't have any of her blood in my body. I'm doing this because I know it's the right thing to do. And if this woman can live this long, have all of these kids, bury these kids, and you're still able to
yeah.
smile,
God bless her. Honest.
it's my honor to just take you to the end, right?
Mm,
So,
Yeah.
that's great.
but it's 7 days a week. That's a full-time job.
Yes, it
So
is.
Yeah.
that's what I didn't. That's what I stopped. So when my job, well, long story, but when it closed, I did not get another full-time job because I can't do both. I can't
Mm-mm.
be a very high-strung lawyer, and I can't do it all. So I did not. Of course, I still have my little side businesses with estate planning because that's my passion. It's not a business, that's my passion. And it
Mhm.
actually folds into caregiving because I know that it is extraordinarily critical to have your documents in order.
Mhm.
Extraordinarily so. I mean,
Yeah.
because for my mother in law, it's just a matter of when. I don't know when, but she can't live forever. My gosh. She's on grace time every single day that she opens her eyes. And I told her, she's like, well, what am I supposed to do? I said, Mama, I just need you to wake up in the morning. She said, okay, I'll do that. I said, okay, well, that's all I need you to do. I'll take care of everything else. And then she'll reach up and give me a big old hug.
Mm.
So I
Beautiful.
just take that off of her. I take because she's a very independent woman. So it's hard for her to have me to clean her up so I try not to make it so, where she's offended. So
That's
we hug each other a lot. I do all of that, which I didn't do the first 3 years, honestly, because that was a place that I reserved for my mother. So I did not do that the first, honestly, the first 3 or 4 years. I would not
Yeah.
get that close because you're not my mother. You're my mother-in-law. And those hugs and all of that, that's reserved for my mom.
Yeah. Well, you both have grown at
Yeah.
this point into this, and that happens a lot. I mean, I know that you guys know that prior to caregiving for my husband, I was a caregiver for both my mother and father, and my
Hmm.
father for an additional 3 years past my mother, and that was an independent, stubborn hairball,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, tough guy, and that was my father, and we still had to grow into a softer situation between us. So um I definitely understand. I definitely understand. And I really appreciate both of you all sharing so much. We have a caregiving session that we're actually going to, that you guys are, I think, both in. And we're for that session. I'm not sure what the date is. Let me just look really quick for anybody viewing. The date for that one is actually February 21st, a Saturday at 3 o'clock. The good news there is not only, will we have the voices of, three caregivers, between us all, but also we'll have Katie Bombard, who is she is a therapist, a licensed
Mm.
therapist.
Good.
I'm sure with some great insight, or maybe just to share from her own perspective. I know that she also had some dealings of her own. So life experiences to me really count just as much, if not more, than academics.
Yeah,
You
I
can you
agree.
can learn about these things till you're blue in the face. When it
Mhm.
happens, you want somebody who's been there, to actually be able to say, now this is probably going to happen like this. If they have dementia, for example, there is a good chance that they may be distrusting. Don't take it personal. There's a good chance
Hmm.
they may have, off reactions to something that makes no sense to you,
Hmm.
and you just have to sometimes you just have to hear someone else say, look, what you're going through, we all have. It's not personal. It's personally, you know challenging your emotions right now, but it's not
Right.
something personal from that person. Like, it is what they're going through. So I really want to thank both of you, especially through all the technical difficulties that happen. I actually have been on the phone for 2 days straight, 2 to 3 hours each day, trying to get a company that I'll try not to say their name is Verizon. I'm trying to get them to help me work out this problem of theirs. But thank you both for being the type of wonderful women that carried the torch, went on. And if there is one thing that you had to say to someone who is currently not recognizing, even maybe they recognize that they need space, but they just don't know how to break free, and they have excuses, or well, maybe not excuses, but justifications, in their mind, like they can't find the time, or they can't find the space. There is no space in their home, or there is, time and space. Let's just work with that. I want to hear from both of you. Just one word of advice to counter one of those challenges.
Well, your health is your wealth. You have to have a space. Everyone in life, there, I what is it? Talks in Ecclesiastes. There's a time and a place for everything. There is
Hmm.
times when we gather and we find our strength. There is also great strength and balance in finding your space and creating the moments of creativity and solace and peace, sometimes grief, sometimes hurt, and just processing. Everyone has to have that space. So I find for longevity and for peace of mind, make it a point to create a space that's special just for you.
I love that. Cynthia?
For me, I think I would tell the person to remember that this is just a time in space right now. It's just a temporary time. It will not last forever. So look at it as that, just a time and space, and it will pass like everything else. And just remember to breathe. You know, when we're running, we're just no. Just take a deep breath. Just breathe and give yourself a lot of grace. You're not Superman. You're not Superwoman. I look on my chest every day, and there's not an S on there.
Not
So
yet.
stop trying to be there. I know, right? Yeah.
Right.
I think you
And
earned
it's okay. Yes. And there's no such thing as perfection. This is not about perfection. It is simply about doing the best you can do for that day.
absolutely.
That's all you can do.
I love that response as well. Just coming from my perspective, a lot of times I think that people try to take on the whole enchilada and one bite will do
Mhm.
for now.
Right.
So if you can get away for 5 minutes, and like Cynthia mentioned, something that I'm a firm believer of, you know, she said, take a deep breath. That's fine. Breath work is wonderful. Just some simple techniques can stop everything and regulate, the vagus nerve, bring you back in just a few moments, and calm you down. You could do, there's breath work. I'm just gonna pull one. 478, where you breathe in on a count of four slowly, you hold it on a count of seven, and you exhale through your mouth with a whooshing sound for eight, for a count of eight. Doesn't take very long. You could just do a couple of those. Hide away, go to the throne, go wherever, hide away and do a few 4, 7, 8s. Start with a few minutes, start with three, build up to five. After a while, you're gonna get hungry for more time, and you will start realizing and prioritizing to get more time, whatever that thing is that you can ground yourself with, but I do think breath work's a great one. I do think moving your body is a great one. Exercise, wake up and do some Tai Chi. It's a wonderful way to just, get move your body and also regulate your emotions and your mindset. So I think starting off with a little, start off with the bite, and you can have the whole enchilada another day. So, but you'll get there. Start with something. So I just, tonight you guys were just great. I think that we had a wonderful panel, with some, different experiences and different levels of how to approach this thing called personal peace and protecting your space and resetting your mindset in the midst of a busy life or household. So for everybody out there, I just want you to figure out what your grounding anchor is, if it's soft lights or exercising or breath work or smelling something that just calms your nerves, and set a timer. Say, okay, I can do 10 to 15 minutes. Or if you're one of those people that say they don't have the time, I can do 5 minutes. And tell your household, I'm not available right now. And then
Mhm.
try it and tell me how it works out, unless it didn't work out and you want to come on my chat like mad. Then don't tell us. But other than that, thank you for joining, chatting with Chi. Thank you to my guests, Cynthia and Crystal. You guys are amazing. You'll see them again. You'll see them again. So we'll hear their voices again. Join us next week for starting new habits. I know Crystal's in that one too. along with a couple of other people, and that is on Tuesday, February 17th. It's recorded at 6:30, so give us a moment to get it uploaded to YouTube, but you'll see it on Tuesday night at some point, as you'll see this one tonight. Thank you all so much. Thank you. Have a good night, guys.